I don't know about this. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if this is a good idea. It is just a rumor, though. Hello, Big Show nerds. We have a little bit of everything. It's not the biggest episode ever, but we're not skipping anything either, including a speculation subsection in the rumors. So, all of that being said, thank you for joining me. I am Dustin, right here on the Black Lion Endeavors Big Show Entertainment Network. Whew, there's all kinds of titles and things we got to cover. There is news to talk about, but first, there is also an intro. So let's talk TV streaming. TV streaming. You get TV streaming and you get TV streaming. TV streaming, we have two follow-up pieces. First is Wonder Girl. Remember we talked a few weeks ago, probably even about 2 months ago plus. We talked about the Wonder Girl show that was coming to the CW. It was part of the Future State comic book initiative that is going on right now in the DC comic books. This was going to be the Brazilian version of Wonder Woman, and yeah, it was a lot of convolution. There was a lot of stuff that was like, well, if you read this one offshoot comic book that changed everything, then you'll really appreciate this show. Well, it's not going forward. The official announcement has been made that CW is not picking up the Wonder Girl show going forward. The other piece of follow-up news has to do with Truth Seekers. Sorry, first day, new lips and all that. Truth Seekers, the Simon Pegg and Nick Frost supernatural hunters hilariousness that is on Amazon Prime, has not been renewed for a second season. So sadly, we only get the one season that has been streaming for some time up on Prime. Sucks, but at least, it's encapsulated. We have all of the things in one spot, right? So silver linings, I guess. But we have one piece of actual news, and this one, I feel like the outlet was talking about this like it was already known, and it kind of vaguely sounds familiar, but I'm burying the lead here. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith is apparently getting turned into a series. Donald Glover and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are now attached to not only produce the show, but be the eponymous Mr. and Mrs. Smith. If you remember, this is going to be loosely based on the movie from 2000, I think it was 2005, with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. It's actually the notorious movie where they met each other and Brad Pitt left Jennifer Aniston for Angelina Jolie. Really saddens me that I know that, but there you go. Now you know it too. But that is all we've got for the TV streaming section, guys. Let's get into movies. Movies, we have one follow-up here, and that has to do with Captain Marvel 2. We did just get a casting announcement for Captain Marvel 2. Zawe Ashton has been cast as the villain. That's the only detail that they've given. So if you hear anything else, you're listening to rumors, and we're going to talk about that in the rumor mill. But the only hard news, actual factual piece of evidence that is happening is that she has been cast as the villain. Moving on. Next, we're talking about Hercules. Disney is wont to do all of the reboots in the live actions and the things. They have the Russo brothers doing the Hercules. This is not news. This kind of sort of is a follow-up, but it's a little bit more than that. So the Russo brothers are apparently looking to turn this version of Hercules into a franchise in and of itself. So they want to make this at least into a trilogy from the sounds of things, which could be pretty freaking awesome. Honestly, who doesn't love Russo brothers movies? Come on. That's all we have there, though. We're going to move right along. We're to our last piece in this section, and that has to do with Star Wars. This could have gone also in the follow-ups, but it's just a little bit ridiculous because we keep hearing things back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and now we're back. Rian Johnson is, in fact, getting his Star Wars trilogy up and running still. It is still somewhere in pre-development. It's not there. There's no casting. There's no even an announcement of like scripts or anything along those lines. But we did get official word that it is still on the table and it is still happening. So, yeah, there it is. Moving on. Now, let's get into the rumor mill. Rumor mill is, as is kind of usual, our biggest section because there's always 1,000,001 rumors. And I honestly had to leave out a bunch that really didn't make sense, like didn't sound like they were anything, there was anything to them. So there's even more than I'm putting in the episode. But before we get into the actual rumors, we're going to dip our toes into a little bit of speculation once again. This time, as has been the case, we are speculating again about WandaVision. I promise you, I will get into other speculation for other nerdy things, but right now, WandaVision is kind of the biggest thing and is also kind of the biggest mystery as it comes to nerd pop culture things, so this is the one that we're speculating about. That being said, we've got a couple of things here. So first, there is speculation going around. This one's not mine. Speculation going around that in episode 7, we will see Monica Rambeau fully realized as Photon. I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler warning. Probably should have done that a second ago. Sorry. Spoiler warning, if you haven't watched episode 6, then it's going to be some mild spoilers, but nothing real crazy because there's not a whole lot to spoil with episode 6. We're just kind of getting to know this new character in Pietro and also kind of filling out the world a little bit better. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have been warned. Spoilers ahead for WandaVision. All right, so in episode 6, remember we got the notification from I can't even think of the character's name now. Kat Dennings' character, that Monica Rambeau, having gone through the hex multiple times, it's changing her DNA. So this has led a lot of speculation to kind of go really deep into, well, this is how we're going to get mutants into the MCU, and I feel like that's not really likely, but potentially this is how we're going to see Photon realized in Monica Rambeau. So that's pretty freaking cool. There's no reason, there's no like leakers who are saying this. This is just people with better minds than I making speculation into a show that I'm really struggling to understand at times, but it's a whole lot of fun and I really freaking love it. So that is the speculation that is abroad. The speculation that I am adding into the pool of speculation for the show is Pietro. So there is a number of theories going around as to exactly what version of Quicksilver this is. So at first, because he's played by Evan Peters, everyone was like, oh, he's the Fox Marvel. This is how they're going to start doing the crossovers, is because multiverse. And that still could potentially be the case. We did get some information in the last episode that kind of negates that, but it also could be Wanda has a little bit more control over Pietro than she realizes because she could have implanted false memories into his head. That is 100% possible. Or it could be that their histories are legitimately close enough in the two different universes that the things that he remembers slightly different and things that she remembers slightly different are legit memories, except for that being shot number. So remember, Pietro says that all he remembers is being shot like a chump, and then he heard Wanda calling, so he came. That's how the MCU Pietro died, is being shot in Age of Ultron. And then there's just a lot of stuff connected to that makes you go, well, that's not necessarily how. All right, so a couple of things to notice here. First, in the opening sequence, when everyone is saying when we have those opening credits, and the credits are listing the characters as actors like they have in every other opening credits for the show. The only one that seems different is Pietro Maximoff as himself, which kind of lends to the whole, well, he's the only one who's quote-unquote guest starring. Seems a little, and he's also one of 3 people, potentially 4 people, who has a knowledge of what's going on around them. It seems that some of the other characters have like fleeting moments, or if Vision takes the hex away from their eyes or their brain, or however you want to put it, then they have that momentary vision as well, not to pun anything. But really, by and large, the only people who understand what's going on 100% of the time are Wanda, Vision, Agnes, and Pietro. And the big black dude, I can't think of his name right now. But his is fleeting. His isn't 100% of the time. So, Pietro starring as himself, and then with all of the devil like he keeps making references to the devil. This is definitely leading a lot towards he's probably Mephisto. He also has memories that the actual Pietro wouldn't have. I'm really drawing a blank right now because I'm trying to think news and not speculation, but whatever. There's a number of memories that he has in this episode that don't make sense as to how he would have them. Like the death of Vision is one that comes to mind immediately. He wouldn't have known that Vision died or that he was married to Wanda because that all happened after Pietro died. So this is all just kind of lending itself to Mephisto. Mephisto is very likely going to be revealed at the end of this season, and my speculation is that he's going to be revealed as being Pietro in disguise. All right, or Mephisto disguised as Pietro, whatever. So that is Speculation Town. Thank you very much for joining me. Now we're going to get into the actual rumors. In this rumor section, we have a Predator rumor. We do have new casting details that have reportedly been leaked that has honestly like the conservative gamer side of things, the conservative nerd culture, the comics gators and the gamer gators, if you will, really kind of up in arms because they're making Predator woke. Well, if you look at this leak, there's a whole lot wrong here. The leak is reportedly leaking the casting announcement, well, not announcement, but the casting call rather, for the 2 leads. They're 2 native, I guess, First Nations people in the Americas. The lead is going to be a young woman. In some of the information that is from the quote leak, she is listed as the older sibling. In the actual synopsis of the movie that is in this very same leak, she is listed as the younger sibling. Their ages, every time it refers to their age, it says a different number. So there's a lot of reasons this is broken, not the least of which that it comes from freaking 4chan. All right, so the likelihood that any of this leak is legit, I'm going to say, well, all right, let's not say any of this, because very potentially it is dealing with First Nations people, and very potentially we will have a female protagonist for this movie. That makes sense given the cultural zeitgeist at the moment. So that part of it, yeah, I can see that. I'll put that at about 75%. But the rest of this, the synopsis and all of this other garbage, no. 10% likelihood that any of that sticks. Moving on. Next, we're talking about Captain Marvel 2. Remember, we talked about Zawe Ashton. I think that's how you say her name. I apologize if it's not. Casting rumor. There has been a lot of speculation. There has been some people who claim to have sources that say that she is going to be Moonstone. There are others saying that she is going to be Veranke. Veranke? one of the Skrull queens. So Moonstone has ties to the Thunderbolts, which we do have rumor that they're trying to set up, but we also know specifically that they're setting up Secret Wars, and Veranke has some very, very direct ties to the Secret Wars story. So my hat is getting tipped to the Secret Wars side. So Veranke, I think Moonstone would be pretty awesome, because then that also leads to Dark Avengers. So let's give a percentage for these. Moonstone, I'm putting percentage at about 25%. I think there's a decent possibility, but not super strong. As far as Veranke goes, because there's no super solid sources, and because honestly a lot of this borders on speculation, I can't go above 50% for that. So really, that's about where we're sitting. 50% for Veranke, 25% for Moonstone. Next, we're moving over to Batman Beyond. We have another freaking rumor about a live-action Batman Beyond series. HBO Max and CW are reportedly in talks to do it together, much like CW and DC Universe did for Stargirl. Right? Stargirl? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was what it was. Yes, Stargirl. Sorry, I didn't see it in the notes, and then I did. This sounds potential. They're capitalizing on the fact that we know that Michael Keaton is going to be in the Flash movie, and then they're also capitalizing on the rumor that WB wants to extend Keaton's contract to stay as Bruce Wayne to some capacity for a while. So that right there means that this is rumor based on rumor. As high as we can go is 30%, because we do have other rumors that are saying Keaton has only signed for the one movie, and he's actually not even going to be a huge part of the movie. He's just going to be a tertiary character. Then that kind of brings this down a little bit more. It would be awesome for this to happen. I just can't give it much validity. There's no real hard validity here. So we're going to put this likelihood at about 30%. Our next rumor has to do still with Batman. This is another take on a series of rumors we've been covering, and that is Ben Affleck's Batman getting an HBO Max series. This new rumor brings Jared Leto into the fray and says they're going to be doing The Killing Joke in live action as a series. Why? We already learned that this is a very difficult comic to adapt to motion. Why would we want to make it longer than the movie that was really kind of hot garbage? Just so many questions as to why this would be a thing. We also know that Affleck is not super keen on continuing as the Caped Crusader. We do know that Leto would be interested in staying as his new version of the Joker for as long as possible, because narcissism is a thing. But there's a lot going against this. It does come from a pretty solid source, but it's just the one source. I cannot go above, I'm going to say about 40% here. Normally I would put it a little bit lower, but I mean the pure surplus of rumors around this topic has kind of got me convinced a little bit more that it might be happening. Next, we're talking about Doctor Strange 2. This is a pretty awesome rumor. This is continuing on the similar path as well of other rumors we've talked about, and that is the introduction of the X-Men into the MCU. So, two reported mutants are going to be introduced in Doctor Strange 2 to some degree. So this is it's really rough with rumors on this movie, because they're probably going to introduce a whole slew of people that are never going to be seen again in the MCU. So continuing on, we have Submariner, Professor X, and Mr. Fantastic are all being rumored from the same source to be in this movie, and then that's kind of as far as the rumor goes. It doesn't go on to say that we will be getting these characters going forward, that they're going to be coming out of the multiverse, nothing along those lines. So, yeah, I would imagine at the very least, a version of Reed Richards and a version of Professor X will be in this movie. Namor, maybe something a little bit. But the other two, I would be surprised if they weren't to some degree in this movie. So this is another rumor that's like, oh yeah, let's see all these straws. Let's just grasp at those and see what we can make for ourselves. The assumption is that this rumor is implying that we're going to be seeing these characters going forward in the MCU. Also, the rumor does go on to say that there have been sightings of people in these roles, but it doesn't say who's playing these roles. So another reason that you cannot give validity to this rumor. Honestly, going on the assumption that what they're meaning to imply is that these characters are going to become mainstays in the MCU going forward, I'm not giving that any validity. It's 10% at best validity there. Are we going to see these characters in Doctor Strange 2? Yeah, probably. I think that's a pretty strong likelihood that at least 2 of these 3 characters are going to show up in Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness, you freaking whatever. All right, moving right along, we have Star Trek 4. We have a new report that the Kelvin timeline is still alive and kicking a little bit. This new rumor says that instead of it being a new movie, as in like a theatrical released movie, this is going to be a straight to streaming movie with all of the Kelvin timeline cast intact. And then it does go on to say that we will even be getting a cameo from William Shatner that's going to tie it somehow to the Prime universe a little more directly. We already had the Leonard Nimoy connection, so now Shatner on top of it. The thing that kills this for me is, I mean, yes, I understand, again, they're trying to get as much streaming content as possible. That is not lost on me. But the thing that kills this for me is streaming only. Streaming dual release? Sure, why not? Streaming only on Paramount Plus? No. So likelihood for this, the validity of this rumor is very low. Again, we're looking at about 10% validity that this is legit. Next, we're switching on the other side of the stars. Star Wars, we have a couple of things here. We have a new rumor that says they're eyeing Zack Snyder for his own Star Wars movie. I don't know about this. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if this is a good idea. It is just a rumor, though. So, likelihood that they're eyeing Zack Snyder for his own movie. I don't think that with all of the stuff going on and they are not blind, they see all of the shade that gets thrown in Zack Snyder's direction for his nerd adaptations, by and large. I don't think this is the way that Disney wants to go with their Lucasfilm branch. I think, honestly, the most likely is that this is totally made up. So we're putting this one, I'll give it a little bit more validity. I think the validity here is slightly stronger than the previous rumors. We're looking at about to 15% validity on that one. The next one in Star Wars rumors has to do with Ray Park. We have now our first rumor that Ray Park is going to be returning as Darth Maul in the Obi-Wan series. We know that Obi-Wan is moving into production very, very soon, gearing up for pre-production currently as we speak. So Ray Park posting an image of the Darth Maul spikes that he wears on his head in the makeup booth kind of seems to imply that, yeah, there's some validity here. So, and then a number of other outlets have taken that and run with it and said they have sources that say, yeah, we're going to see Maul in Obi-Wan. Didn't say extensively how much or anything like that. So I don't know. I feel like the validity here is a little stronger. There's a little bit more to grasp onto. We're going to put this one right about 60% likely that is a thing. And then our next one is a video game rumor. We have a new rumor that we're going to be getting a Nintendo Switch exclusive Resident Evil game called Resident Evil Outrage. It is rumored to be releasing either late 2021 or early 2022. This would not be the first time that we have a Nintendo-only release for a Resident Evil game. So, sure, it's kind of... It's a single source, but it's a good source, so we're going to put this one right about 50%. We will definitely keep tabs on it, though, because it sounds pretty freaking cool. And then our final piece of rumor news, we're going to tie this up with a good little bow. We're coming back to WandaVision. WandaVision, we have a rumor that says in episode 7, Agnes is going to be revealed 100% in fact to be Agatha Harkness. Judging from the quality of the source, I am putting this low. Though I do think that this is the case, I don't think it's going to happen in episode 7. And that is very specifically what this rumor says. Very specifically, episode 7 will be the reveal. So I don't buy that. We're putting this one down right about 20% of validness for the rumor. And that's all we got for rumors, guys. That also does it for the episode, nerds. For a more in-depth conversation on the pop culture nerd news, you can join me on my personal YouTube channel, Generally Nerdy. Or while you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on all of the Big Show Entertainment Media platforms, especially if you're watching on the YouTube, because we are doing a push for 1,000. Once we hit 1,000 subscriptions, we will be giving away a PlayStation 5. So go subscribe, baby. All of that being said, thank you very much, nerds. Don't forget to tune in next time for all that's happening across the nerd world.